terrible show, but I just remember like they like seem to kind of just like make fun of the characters in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they make fun of their speech impediments and their inability to like speak normally, or it's just I'm thinking like I'm going through this list and thinking about that. And can you guys think of any other probably a bit more age appropriate shows that have stereotypes? Not South Park.
There's probably a lot, which unfortunately like children nowadays are more let's watch TV rather than read a book.
Yeah.
And so it's harder to like, I don't know, just like cut out those shows and everything, like especially when we have no control as teachers over what they watch or do when they're at home.
Yeah.
Like, so like they get exposed to all these things while in our classrooms we're trying to expose them to these more positive
So
texts and everything.
Yeah, so I guess it's like all we can do really is just show them the best examples to the best that we can, because we'll be the teacher, so we'll be the ones kind of like in an authority figure, kind of like when I'm with a teacher, I'm like, that teacher probably knows more than I do about this, so I'll listen to them and think about their opinions. So if we can understand it and give that more positive image, I feel like kids will take that into consideration,
And kind of help them to become their own like critiques of what they are watching or reading too.
Yeah.
I wish the article gave us some examples of really good books and really bad books.
One that I was thinking about just now was...
sorry.
Sorry, Hal.
Go ahead.
Was in the Percy Jackson series. Like those are really popular, and the demigods, the main characters in the show, gosh dang it, in the books are said to are been just diagnosed with these mental disabilities, but really it's something that they're born with and is part of them, but also is a strength for them. So I just think kind of pointing that out when you're reading, if you're reading the Percy Jackson series with a class, say, look how Percy, even though he's been in school, people are always labeling him as having these mental disabilities. Look how strong of a person he is and how he overcomes it, Because I appreciated in that even though he is a very strong character, they don't just totally ignore the fact that he has those I'm trying to remember exactly what.
I think he was dyslexic.
Dyslexic.
Or had dyslexia.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that. So yeah, that was just one that I was
One
thinking
of
of.
the guidelines. Was there person before?
Yeah. People person first language or something like that.
Yeah. It's that boy with dyslexia.
Yeah.
It was what was the other version? It was the name before the
right.
dyslexic child or something like that.
Yeah.
Or that dyslexic child is Johnny.
Yeah, the wheelchair kid versus kid in the wheelchair, kind of thing like that. Or
You put the person before their disability.
yeah, it's something I've been really trying to practice and get used to. Even with talking about English language learners, I try to say student with English as a second language versus ELL student,
Yeah.
But
I found that that's a very common one.
yeah,
That I hear people say, even more so than if they said autistic. I hear a lot of people he's an ELL.
yeah,
You're labeling him as that, but he's so that student can be so much more than just a learner of English.
yeah. He's a student, the person.
Yeah.
I wonder what somebody with a disability or someone that could relate more to this book thinks. It's I have never been in that situation, but it makes me think if I was, how would I be able to relate with having a brother or having a sister like that?
Yeah. Interesting. I almost feel that could lead into our mirrors and windows,
How we can talk about that?
So
Let me see if there's any more questions.
Oh yeah, sorry, we should finish up that part first.
It's fine. No, we can go on. It just talks about summarize the key points. What were the findings in the study?
You could talk about the
findings.
The
Setting the findings. I wrote that she found that 57% of the classrooms had no books or characters that displayed any disability or illness. I was like, whoa.
The remaining had only like 1 or 2.
I was like, really?
Yeah. Yeah, like I thought that was just such a good point that we brought up, that like unless there is somebody with a disability, it just doesn't get talked about.
I feel like they, in the article they also talked about how like a lot of professionals don't know what literature is available, or if they do know what's available, they aren't sure how to use it
Yeah.
appropriately within the classroom. And then,
I just find that so surprising, you know, like
yeah, like me, I'm thinking like I can't think of many books with this focus. So like I can see how that could be one of the reasons why there's such little representation.
yeah, it's just like it feels like they're another minority group that gets underrepresented among so many other minority groups, you know?
I thought those guidelines were really helpful.
Yeah.
Me too.
Just with like, I read this book first instead of doing the guidelines first, and I was still able to connect.
Me too.
Like what things were good, what things were bad, and I was trying to think about like other books. Because I really wanted a bad example. I learned really well from the wrong example.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
So
you can see like, okay, I can see how this is just
this is all wrong.
not
Okay. Now when I go buy books for my classroom, I will be able to take what I need to know instead of buying really bad ones.
I feel like this class should be a required class for like all ELED,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not.
It's weird.
Um,
But I think like one book that I can remember that I really want to read it, that they're reading in the 6th grade class I've been working at Shuxon, it's called Wonder. Yeah, it's like, if you ever seen it,
know that book.
yeah.
you probably have. It's like, it's blue cover and it
The
has,
Girl with the Star?
I don't think.
Do you know
I feel
how
like
to say that? The Girl with the Star on her?
Yeah,
Star
Star Girl, yeah.
I'm reading that.
I've never read that one, but I'd like to.
Wonder or Wander?
Is it Wonder or Wonder?
Anyway, I think I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, like it has like the blue cover and it's like a black and white picture of the boy, kind of like a drawing, and he has like one eye and like the wonder is written over his eye.
Oh, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I
The
remember.
title sounds familiar anyway.
Yeah,
Oh.
but I just remember like them reading that and like the boy had mental disabilities. And it was like part from his perspective, part from his sister's perspective. So I feel like it's kind of like what we were talking about, how it's fair, like you need those different perspectives to fully understand it. Like I remember he also had like, I think he'd had like some kind of heart issue when he was a little baby, so he had to have a lot of surgeries and stuff. So
I see.
yeah, it's very interesting. I like to read it. It made me tear up while they were reading it. So
I have one last thing about the article. I really liked that it included not only like really big things, but also like little things.
Mhm.
The people first language, it might seem really small, or like the word choice might seem really like a small thing, but it's actually pretty big and important.
Yeah, it can make a big difference.
And like, it just kind of shows how like sometimes the littlest of things within a piece of literature can really show what that author really thinks about that topic.
Mhm.
And it like unveils aspects that may otherwise go unnoticed.
Yeah, because like you think of how important it is like to acknowledge someone as a person before what they're like. Like I think of, I'm trying to think of like some examples of when I've been labeled as something and like they haven't used people first language. You know, like I don't know. I think of like, you know, when someone just says, "Oh wow, you're such a white girl," you know, and like I know that's definitely not on the same level at all, but this like being like, I'm just trying to think of more like labels, you know, like can you think of any like when you've been called something that didn't use people first language and it like kind of made you feel just a little bit uncomfortable? Or
I didn't really notice it before, personally.
And if I did, I usually just was like, whatever. I am who I am.
Like a weird thing. But now I'm gonna be more aware of it. But,
yeah.
I was looking in the book because I was trying to figure out about the author,
Mhm.
if like she's been through a situation like this, like what makes her credible to write this book. I couldn't find like a about me page.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about this author. Cynthia
Because I feel
Lord.
like you have to have some background to be able to write.
Yeah, kind of like the criteria that we were reading about earlier. I feel like you could put like a whole list of criteria for the authors of books about kids with disabilities. You know, like that could be a whole nother criteria list. Yeah.
Any gut reactions?
Kind of have shared mine throughout.
Yeah, I just thought all three of the resources were really like connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I liked how the video made it more real.
Mhm.
I liked how the book kind of put it in perspective, and I liked how the article kind of backed everything up.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I agree with that. Like just making the whole like genre and all like the whole topic very real. Because like I said earlier, I don't really know anybody with disabilities, and so I haven't really been able to like I couldn't relate as much in that way. But like just like kind of seeing what they like from their perspective and everything is like what they go through. So it just like made it real. And like so I kind of connected gut reaction with
Yeah,
man,
that just reminded me
I
of
can't words today.
To answer your question about the author, she has a son who has autism.
Oh, she does.
Oh.
That's
Okay. I was like in the almost back.
Mm-hmm.
I just remembered when I was in 7th grade, we had like a special room for all of the special disability children, and it was like they were separated so much from everyone else.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
just like they are different people.
Yeah.
And like the only time they had with us was lunch, and they would all sit together.
Mm-hmm.
And like I
Yeah.
remember I had one period that I had open because we had periods back in the day. And they were like, we only have one slot open for TAing, and I'm like, where? And they're like, the special needs room, and I was like, oh, like because I've never really like.
Yeah.
It was kind of like nerve-wracking for me because I
Oh,
didn't
sure.
know how to work with people, nor have I had any experience. So I started working there, and I ended up really creating really good connections with some students. That it was like incredible, but I was like I didn't know how to even start, or like what was important for me to do or not do or say or.
Yeah.
So it was really like life-changing, and I felt the first like couple of weeks that I went into that classroom, because it's separate and it's like in the hall of like all the other classrooms, I felt kind of uncomfortable just because I didn't know what people were thinking of me. Because you know it's middle school and it's like, oh, you're going into the special needs room, and it was just like I cared a lot the first like 2 weeks.